Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai. We'll go on and start with chapter 12, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. We've been talking a lot about a sacred ash and vibhuti. I'll read some more about it, and then we might skip a few chapters that seem to be somewhat duplicative of what we already read. Sri Narayana said, O Devarsi Narada, hear now the great secret and the fruits of besmearing one's body with sacred ash, yielding all desires. The pure cow dung of the brown cow is to be taken up by the hand before it reaches the ground. It should not be like mire, not like a liquid. It should not be also very hard, nor should it emit a bad stench. The pure cow dung, in this case, is the cow dung that has already fallen. The cow dung has already fallen in the earth, it has to be taken, and it has to be taken. It should be scraped off from the top and bottom, made into a ball, and then burnt in a pure fire, repeating the principal mantras. Take the ash and tie it in a piece of cloth and keep it in a pot. The pot in which the ashes are to be kept should be nice and good, hard, clean, and sprinkled over for purification. Uttering the principal mantras, one is to keep the ashes inside the pot. The pot may be metal, wood, earth, or cloth, or it can be kept in any other nice pot. The ashes can be kept in a silken bag where the mohurs are kept. In going to a distant land, the devotee can take the ashes himself or keep it with his accompanying servant. When it is to be going to somebody, it is to be given with both the hands, never with one hand. Never keep it in an unholy place. Never apply feet to the ashes, nor throw it in any ordinary place, nor even cross it by your legs. Use also the ashes after purifying it with the mantra. These rules of holding the bhasma, or the ash, are according to the Smitras. By holding bhasma in this way, the devotee becomes, no doubt, like Shiva. The ashes that the Vaidhic devotee of Shiva prepare are to be taken with devotion. Never do they conceive in their minds that they would not take the Tripundra. The holding on of ashes is according to the Vedas. Therefore, one who does not apply it falls down. The Brahmanas must use this Tripundra, repeating the mantra, and they are to besmear their whole bodies with ashes. If they don't do so, they are surely fallen. He can never expect to get liberation, even after Koti births, who does not besmear his body with ashes devoutly, and who does not hold the Tripundras. O Narada, the vile man who does not hold bhasma duly knows the birth of that man as futile. Consider that the body as a burning ground, which does not bear the Tripundra marks. The virtuous man should not cast a glance at him even. Fie one that's forehead which does not carry the Tripundra. Fie on the village which has not a single temple of Shiva. Fie on the birth which is void of the worship of Shiva. Fie on the knowledge which is void of the knowledge of Shiva. Know then to be the slanderers of Shiva who mock at Tripundra, those that put on the Tripundra, their Shiva, in their forehead. The Brahmanas who, without the holy fire, is not nice in any way. So if the worship of Shiva be not done with any Tripundra, is not praiseworthy, even if it be attended with abundance of other offerings. The Creator has not made the forehead vertically high nor round, but he has made it slightly slanting and curved fit to have the Tripunda. Making thus the forehead, the Creator wants, as it were, to inform everyone that everyone ought to use Tripunda mark. The curved lines also are made visible for that purpose. Still, the ignorant, illiterate man does not put up the Tripunda. Unless the Brahmanas use the curved Tripundas, their meditation won't be successful. They will not have liberation, knowledge, nor their asceticism would bear any fruit. First of all, facing eastwards and washing hands and feet, he ought to make resolve and then to take a bath of the ashes mentally, controlling his breath. Then taking the ashes of the Agnihotra sacrifice, he is to put some ashes on his own head, uttering Ishana mantras. Then he is to recite the Purusa Sukha mantra and apply ashes on his face. With the Agnihotra mantra, Agora mantra on his chest, with the Vamadeva mantra on his arms, with the Sadhya Jata mantra on his legs, and with the mantra Om, he is to besmear his whole body with ashes. This is called the bath of fire by the Munis. So bring all the actions to a successful issue. One is to take first of all the bath of fire. Washing his hands, then he is to make Achmaniam duly, and according to the above mentioned rules, he is to apply ashes on his forehead, heart, all around the neck, with the 5 mantras above mentioned, or with each mantra he is to apply the Tripunda. All the actions ordained by the Sastras are to be done after being besmeared with ashes of the Agnihotra sacrifice. Otherwise, no action will bear any fruit. All his truth, purity, japam, offerings, oblations to the sacrifice, bathing in the holy place of pilgrimage, and worshipping the gods become useless who does not hold Tripunda. No fear of disease, sins, famine, or robbers comes to the Brahmins who use Tripunda and rosary of the Rudraksha, and thus remain always pure. In the end, they get the nirvana liberation. During the time of Shraddha, the solemn obsequies performed in honor of the deceased ancestors, the Brahmins purify the rows where persons are fed, so much so that the Devas glorify them. One must use the Tripunda marks before one performs any Shraddha. Japam, sacrifice, offering oblations, or worshipping the Vishva Devas, then one gets deliverance from jaws of death. O Narada, I am now speaking further of the greatness in holding the Bhasma, the sacred ash. Listen. And here ends the 12th chapter, the 11th book, of the greatness of holding the Tripunda and Bhasma in the Mahapuranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. And we'll go on right with chapter 13. Narayana said, O best of Munis, what shall I describe to you the effects of using the Bhasma? Only applying the ashes takes away the Mahapatakas, the great sins, as well as other minor sins of the devotee. I speak this truly, very truly unto you. Now hear the fruits of using simply the ashes. By using Bhasma, the knowledge of Brahma comes to the yatis, the desires of enjoyments are eradicated. The improvement is felt in all the virtuous actions of the householders and the studies of the Vedas and other sastras of the brahmacharis get their increase. To besmear the body with ashes and to apply the curve of the Tripunda is the source of good to all beings. The Shruti say so. That this implies the performance of sacrifices by all is also asserted by the Shrutis. To apply ashes to the whole of the body and to use Tripunda is common to all the religions. It has nothing in principle contradicting to others. So the Shrutis say, This tripunda and the besmearing of the ashes is the special mark of the devotees of Shiva. This again is asserted in the Shruti. The bhasma and the tripunda and the special marks by which one is characterized. It is said on the Vedic Shruti, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Indra, and their avatars, Varuna, and the whole host of devas all gladly use this tripunda and ashes. Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati, all the wives of the gods, daily anoint their bodies with ashes and use the tripundas. So even the yakshas, rakshasas, gandharvas, siddhis, and the munis have applied bhasma and tripunda. This holding on to the ashes is not prohibited to anybody. The brahmanas, kshatras, vaishyas, sudras, mixed castes, all can use the bhasma and the tripunda. O Narada, in my opinion, they only are the saints who use the tripunda and besmear their bodies with ashes. O Narada, know the place where the person who had besmeared the body with ashes and who had used tripunda takes his food, as where Shankar and Shankari have taken their food together. Even if anybody himself, not using the bhasma, follows another who has used it, he will soon be honored in the society, even if he is a sinner. What more than this, if anybody himself, not using the ashes, praises another who uses the ashes, he is freed from all his sins and gets soon honor and respect in the society. All the studies of the Vedas come to him, though he has not studied the Vedas. All the fruits of hearing the Shrutis and the Puranas come to him, though he has not heard of them. All the fruits of practiced Dharma come to him, though he has not practiced it. If he always uses the tripunda on his forehead and gives food to beggars who use tripunda on their forehead. Anybody of a bad or a good character, be he a yogi or a sinner, using bhasma, is worshipped like the sun, like my son Brahma. O Narada, even if any hypocrite uses bhasma, he will have a good future, which cannot be attained even by performing hundreds of sacrifices. If anybody uses ash daily, either through good companion or through neglect, he will be entitled, like me, to the highest worshipped, O Narada. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshvara, Parvati, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and all the other devas become satisfied with simply holding on to this ash. The merits that are obtained by using only the tripunda cannot be obtained by gifts, sacrifices, austerities, or going to sacred places of pilgrimages. They cannot give 1/16th part of the results that accrues from holding the tripunda. As a king recognizes a person as his own, whom he has given some object of recognition, so Bhagavan Shankara knows the man who uses tripunda as his own person. They that hold tripundas with devotion can have Bholenath under his control. Even if anybody be fallen from the state of observing all the rules of conduct proper to his ashram, and if he be faulty in not attending to all his duties, he will be freed if he has used even once this bhasma tripunda. Never bother yourself with the caste or the family of the holder of the tripunda on his forehead. It is so. If so, consider him entitled to respect. O Narada, there is no mantra higher than this Shiva mantra. There is no deity higher than Lord Shiva. There is no worship of greater merit, giving powers than the worship of Shiva. So there is no tirtha superior to this ash. This bhasma is not an ordinary thing. It is the excellent energy of the fierce nature of Rudra. Bhagavan Shiva, first of all, held this bhasma as an ornament of his body by purifying it with the 5 mantras. Therefore, if anybody uses the bhasma, Tripunda, according to the rules on his forehead, the writings written at the time of his birth by Vidatta Brahma will all be cancelled if they had been bad. There is no doubt in this. Here ends the 13th chapter of the 11th book on the greatness of bhasma in the Mahapuranam, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vashveshvari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.